think the key message for me is to kind of recognize what some of the causes are. And for me, probably the two key fault lines in the world with regard to peace are inequality and culture. So inequality with regard to who has economic power, who has political power, who has military power, and who has cultural power. And by cultural power, I mean whose stories are told, whose values are given any credence. And if we look in the world today, there are probably a few countries that have international reach through things like CNN or Sky News or BBC, so that their views of the world tend to be global. Whereas you have other regions and other countries like in Africa or Asia, Latin America, that don't have that kind of global reach. So the thing about whose stories are told, who gets to be heard when it comes to things to do with terror, for example, whose sympathies are kind of provoked, these things are all determined by who has power. So that's the kind of one key fault line. The other key fault line is culture. The different value systems that people have, the different belief systems, the different worldviews, and sometimes conflicts that are rooted in inequality come to be infused and textured by culture, the different value systems, different ways of viewing the world. And I think that what we need to be doing in the world today is to be doing much greater and more rigorous analysis of that which causes the conflict, and how culture, how people's value systems come to affect the conflicts as well, so that when we come up with mitigating strategies, we take account of those cultural dimensions as well, because sometimes we can respond to a conflict without taking the cultural dimension into account, and that then leads to it not being a sustainable peace. We need to be taking cognizance more and more, in my view, of the value systems and the ways in which we need to change people's value systems, people's notions of identity, people's notions of what is good and bad, in order for the ways in which we address inequality to make sure that it's much more stable, much more sustainable in the long term. Sorry, that was a long answer. I think the thing about something like this particular week is that it brings together actors in the field, and it allows for the actors in the field to have a period of reflection and to have input from a variety of different sources to provoke and to challenge the ways in which things might have been happening, and to kind of assess what some of the key priorities are now. It's very easy when you're an actor in the peace world to just do what you've always been doing, because in a way it becomes like other jobs, a job that you're doing. You're employed in order to bring about peace, and you just go and get up in the morning, every morning, and you go to the office and you engage in the same kinds of things. And I think what a week like this does is it helps to provoke people and maybe re-energizes them to think a little bit more seriously about their jobs and to make them more committed to bringing about real and fundamental peace, as opposed to simply doing it because it's a job.